Good evening, all. I'm Epstein with your SPDR ETF stock market wrap-up for a wild trading day to the downside primarily on this Wednesday, the 25th of October, 2023. Wow, what a market. Okay, the good news is we have a Speaker of the House, and he's coming pretty much unbridled in terms that he doesn't have everything that, unfortunately, Kevin McCarthy had, where any one person could do certain things to him. Now, I don't know a heck of a lot about him, so I can't really comment on him. Haven't heard a lot. I know that he is very much in the Trump camp. That much we know. He's a conservative from what I'm hearing. A letter has been passed out, according to what I'm reading in Bloomberg, where they're already talking about stopgap bills to take us into January or April. But they do want to get funding for some projects done, especially the bills that are in front of the House. Where that takes you on Ukraine, where it takes you on Israel, where it takes you on the border, I have no idea. The other piece of good news today is that face-to-face, the head negotiators, Mr. Fine and Browning of the Ford and the UAW, have met face-to-face and they are hashing things out. Now, that's a great sign. Doesn't mean it'll get done. But these are the big boys. They make the decision, so this doesn't go from one group to the other. They can sit there and say, I can't do this, I can do this, and then they can go back. But the two of them, the fact that they're meeting means we're getting close. What that means for GM and Stellantis, well, once Ford gets done, if it does get done, that is what they have to meet if they want their workers to go back. So any one of the big three that strikes a deal pretty much sticks with all of them. We will see how that plays out. As for the marketplace, we are dealing in a very serious situation in Israel and Hamas. World opinion is shifting. College campuses are exploding. This reminds me, I must tell you, I grew up in the Vietnam era, so a lot of the people watching are too young to know it. The others that are watching know what I'm speaking about. And these are when the riots were. This was an unpopular war that we were getting ourselves into. The campuses were fraught with everything. I know I had to spend my years in ROTC in order to graduate. Did everything I had to do. And that's what you did, all right? Well, now students are picking up pro-Palestinian on campuses and parts of the country, walking out of classrooms. All of a sudden, there's notices up everywhere. Anti-Semitism is exploding across America. At least that's what the press is saying. And this is not good, all right? This is terrible. To begin with, not every Jewish person is his Zionist, all right? Not every Catholic is from Italy, all right? So it's the same thing. Most Jews have never been to Israel. So people have to understand the differences between it. An American Jew is not an Israeli Jew. It's that simple. No need to go any further, and I'm not going to go into it. Suffice to say, Judaism is Judaism, Catholicism, Protestantism, and Muslims. They're all factions within factions within factions. If you don't realize that, go study history. But it's now spreading, and it's getting worse and worse. And we are now seeing other things happening. I don't know if you're paying attention to China and the Philippines. Two ships collided. Now, the U.S. has an obligation to defend the Philippines on these parts of the China Sea that Philippines are saying is not Chinese. So we got to watch what's going on there. I keep looking at the attacks in Syria and Iraq on our troops, and I keep hearing our president saying if any of the groups that Iran backs fires on American troops and does anything, that there will be heck to pay, whatever that is. Well, it's happening. Where's the heck to pay? Why aren't we doing something about it? We have the military might, but if you do it, what's the next consequence? We have a tinderbox in the world. It is a dangerous time, and people are dumping stocks. They are putting money into treasury bills and bonds. The dollar is a bid market, and gold has been advancing. So as we take a look here, this evening, you're up 77 cents in the gold. And today I told traders, I don't mind telling you, I said, I had told them to buy GDX. And this morning, I'll share with you, I told them to scratch the trade, get out at the price that they bought it at, and they were able to do so. And that tells me that if you want to own something, gold's the thing to own. It's not silver. It's not the gold stocks. It's the gold if it's going to pop on this news. The other markets that are moving, Microsoft moved. Now, Meta was down $13. It's up 16 right now. So the aftermarket earnings came in great for Meta. It took off to the upside. We're breaking the heck out of Amazon at this point. Schwab is still not a market that's going to easily stay over the $50 level. So let's take a look at some of the things that we have here and see where we're at. I picked Meta because I was looking at this break, and had we not had all this negative in the market over Israel and what's going on there, we'd be more focused on Ukraine, right? When's the last time you heard anything in the news or you're seeing how the Ukraine war is going? It's like the world's turned off to it. It's sad because what's going on there is a bloodbath for both sides. But in any case, as you're coming down here, you're back into a support zone. The trend is clearly to the downside. The last I looked in the aftermarket, you were around 316, right back to the 18-day average for all purposes. You had come down here to 299.5. We'll see if the aftermarket prices hold up or not. Market had come into an area where I think the shorts did big covering. Why? First challenge of the 100-day average. Now, a 100-day average is a big, long average. You got to pay attention to that as to what it is on a chart. And when you get there and you got the Bollinger Band, you're into a support zone. If the average were up here at the Bollinger Band, it'd be a resistance. You're always seeing me. I hope you use that word, always saying, I would expect to see support at the Bollinger Band and the 100 if they're coming together, and they are. We'll see if that holds up or not. When we look at momentum, you're oversold. So even if you had closed through this, I wouldn't have new sell signals. First thing I tell you is I never tell a client to go short under a Bollinger Band or to buy over a band. You generally regret it. It's really that simple. In Rivian still has its problems. Now I'm seeing more and more of the trucks on the street from Amazon are with it. Something is happening though. If you take a look, you have an embedded reading. Watch, the numbers are under 20, under 20, under 20, under 20. You're getting the path there. Now, what starts happening here, now I'm going to come the other way, is your 1984. If these markets don't collapse in the morning off of some event out in the Mideast, Rivian is one of these markets now that could be full of surprises. An update tomorrow could cause you to lose the embedded reading. But at this point, the bears are in total control. So until that happens, guess what number they're still gearing on? The lower Bollinger Band, unless you lose that embedded reading. And there's another bearish event happening. Take a look at this 18-day average. You had one crossover where it got under the 100-day here, and I don't think you'd argue with me. You went down and made new lows afterwards. You get another crossover. I would then look for that 1520 to be a real world in that. In UGA, the gasoline fund, here comes the market back down. It's now fighting again. It did this before. It got to the 200-day average. And this time it had hit the Bollinger Band and that at the same time. And that's often a support zone, and it worked that way. Now you don't have the Bollinger Band here. If it were to close under in a meaningful way tomorrow, you would open the door for 60.41. To be good, the market's got to get over not today's high so much, the past 2 days' highs. And if it does that, you could actually get a short-term buy signal in this market. That's how you're on flipping back and forth in these. XLF still under a lot of pressure, oversold. I can't tell clients to deploy new money on the short side in oversold conditions. Same in XLI. I see the trend is down, but no, I wouldn't be telling my clients to do that. Here is just total sideways action. So AI, which deploys all this software for people to use as they're developing their programs and the like, back and forth and void of a trend. One of the few markets that isn't trending down at this point. You can see the consumer completely weighted down as we keep coming down here. It looks like we're going to embed too. If you embed in this, further low. So that would prove that the consumer's running out of money. I mean, the market is just betting that that is the case. Are we embedded? Well, both numbers today were under 20. Both were under 20 yesterday. What about the day before? They were. So you've locked it in Took today to do it, which tells me that on a good, hard, short covering rally, and if you've taken my enhanced Bollinger Band course, you learn how to do this. There's the rules, that's the setup. Then I'd be looking to go short. You heard me? Short. Lose the reading, I won't want to be short anymore. But no, that's how I'd be going about it. XHB, you're about to get your bearish crossover. Just on the cusp of it. 73.85 to 59. When you reopen, you're going to be under it. That's how the math's going to work. Are we embedded? Both numbers under 20. Both under 20. What about the day before? They're there. So you got your embedded reading. It's the same rules that I want to go with. In the energy sector, higher highs, higher lows, and back under the 18-day average. So you've neutralized everything. You're not bearish, but you're not bullish. When you're underneath the 18-day average, the bias is down. So while the swing line is up, the bias is down. It's a big nothing. GLD, I expect that one morning, if Israel does invade, the market's going to try to give you a pop, and wherever that Bollinger Band is might be the area that it goes to. But Israel hasn't done an invasion. It's now approaching 2 weeks. And the longer they do this, you know what I've said, world opinion moves against them. Because their siege is hurting the innocent people in Palestine. The hospitals can't operate. The UN is pulling out its staff. It doesn't fuel to operate the buildings that it's located in. This just keeps going. From Israel's point of view, hey, I'm not losing any soldiers. The people can turn in Hamas. They can turn on them, or they can turn to Hamas. According to Israel, they have fuel to give. I don't know what the reality is. You think I'm on the front there? I don't have the slightest idea. It's like a medieval war, though. Now you've circled them. You're starving them. You're not letting anything in, and their army's too strong. The world doesn't want to come in and fight them, because then you got to take different sides, and you might lead everybody else into the war. I mean, it's no different, is it, than 1300s to 1400s. I grew up with stories like this. And that's what it is right now. You can go back in the biblical times. It's like this. That's what's going on. And then the people, all sides, are getting very violent about it. SLV. Now you've stepped out of the uptrend. You made the lower low. You got up to overbought. Looking back, what about the wisdom when I said it here? Come out at the 100 to 200-day average in the Bollinger Band. Stiff resistance. Boom. Worked like a charm. They don't all work. That one worked. Copper, still in big trouble. Now, China's meeting. Remember, Congress is meeting. We will hear things. The way I would look for the market to go is a surprise to the upside, but it hasn't shown itself. So far, they are doing things. They have upped the amount of the deficit, that they can run a budget deficit 20% larger than they were doing before. Doesn't seem to matter. The market didn't respond. They just put $137 billion into the economy. Doesn't matter. Country Garden just now declared it is in default. They don't have a choice. The lenders put them there. They missed the last $15 million payment. In the scheme of things, that wasn't a lot of money. They could have made it. The problem is so big, there's no point in throwing out the $15 million. That's what management had to make the decision to do. You could slip back here to the 3290s because their real estate market, it's a domino effect. As this one goes, you watch. The others start rolling. All it takes is one. In TLT, be patient here. Here's what's going to happen. Next Wednesday, a week from today, the Federal Reserve comes out and tells us what their quarterly funding needs are. Remember the last time they did this, they needed, what, $1.1 billion or something? It was something like that. And we've seen these auctions that are nonstop. And I don't think you disagree with what I'm saying. As that happened and as they came to the market for all these monies, interest rates soared. Just go back, look at what they told you, go back 3 months ago, you'll see what I'm saying. Well, I would assume that they need as much money, if not more. Who knows where this is going to go at this point, but I definitely am still very much in the bear camp here. In UUP, how do you trade the war with it? You know you want to be long the dollar, but the chart pattern keeps knocking you out. It doesn't go up, it doesn't go down. It's not worth being in. Then we get to FXE. Higher high and coming back down here. So you put it all together, and there are some things you got to watch. I don't know if people realize it. When you look at SPY, If you go back on your chart action and you look at what has happened from October 26th, you can write this down, to December 2nd on the S&P futures, this is based on that, so same thing. 16 out of 16 years in a row, if you bought and got out on that date, there was a profit. I am not going to share with you the average size, but there's a reasonable profit in that. Does that mean it will work this year? Absolutely not. History's never a guide for the future. It can tell you what happened and then how you want to interpret and play with it. That's it. But what I can tell you as a guide for the future is what I do with my Bollinger Bands, how to use them, how to work with them. Does it mean they always work every single time? No, but the percentage is insane. It's really a strong tool. How do you determine that yourself? Because that's what I want to teach you. Do me a favor. Don't stop right here. Take a look at this. Try these Bollinger Bands. Take it from there. You can find out more on our course as well. All you do is move your cursor up to the top. It's under the word education on the IraEpstein.com website. You're your own best weapon, right? Weaponize. I'm Ira. You have a good day. Welcome. I'm Ira Epstein, and I'm here to talk about my enhanced Bollinger Band course. Now, many of you have taken my regular charting course, and if not, you might think you know something about Bollinger Bands. As you know, Bollinger Bands are an algorithm designed to keep the market trading within it 95% of the time. And on a chart, it will offer on the top part resistance, on the bottom support, and the idea is the market will travel within them. We know that sometimes it latches onto that band, goes up or goes down. Well, how do you play with that? Can you pyramid the positions off that type of thinking? Well, I've applied all three of these into 13 different videos that teach you my concept of it. And from that concept, you're able to work with weekly charts and or daily charts. The 13 videos, each about 7 minutes long. The idea here is not to put you in school forever, but to teach. Now, if you haven't tried my complete futures research, I throw that in as well. Whether you've tried this or not, I think it's worth taking a look at. I think you're going to learn something from there. That research, by the way, covers twice daily market updates for you and access to what I call window envelope numbers, which I think are very important when looking at these Bollinger Bands. The next part is a trial to our charting software so you can make your charts look the same way that mine do. It's that simple. Where do you go with it and how do you get all this? It's simple. You go to our website, www.iraepstein.com. If you go to the word education, everything you need is answered there. You can also call my staff. They'll be happy to help you get set up. I'm Ira Epstein, on the road to your education.